We'll move on to adult softball. Brad Gordon.
Christy just missed soccer.
I know. Sir.
Morning, Mayor, Council.
Morning.
Nice to see you all. I'm Brad Gordon. I'm the president of Broken Arrow Adult Softball. And I just want to, before we get started, I know I got a short time. Is this my timer here?
Yes.
Okay. I have been running Broken Arrow Adult Softball since about 2003 at the Indian Springs Al Graham Fields. And I just, that led to the building of the Challenger Sports Complex with the turf fields. And I feel like I've kind of become an expert on turf, and I've heard turf all this morning. And I'm going to express and try to help you understand the importance of turf, not just for me, but for soccer, for baseball, girls fast pitch, and the sports in Broken Arrow in general. But first I want to tell you we are on year 5 with the Challenger Sports Complex with Broken Arrow Adult Softball. And I am blessed and absolutely grateful for what you guys allow us to pass that. There was a lot of convincing with Scott Esmond, the old parks director, back in the beginning, and we passed that bond in 2014 and got this thing built. And I actually was on the design team to help design that park, and I'm absolutely grateful. And it has become a full-time job along with my current full-time job. So, but I enjoy it, and I play softball out there, and I live here in Broken Arrow, and I love it. And it's a big deal out here. But I will tell you, in year 5, this park runs year-round. I take off about 2 weeks around Christmas. We run tournaments almost every weekend. I've got it's about 45 tournaments scheduled this year on Saturdays. Our leagues are absolutely full. The summer season right now has 145 teams, and the women's league will come on in July, so we'll be over 150 when that's ready to go. But spring brought in about 135 teams. Fall will probably bring in about 140. And then we have a Grinchmas Christmas league that we play out there between Thanksgiving to Christmas. But the park is absolutely full. I still have to use Indian Springs 3 and 4 nights a week, which is the 2 fields there at Al Graham. And that's part of the presentation. I don't know if you got that up on screen here. All right, you got Challenger and you got Indian Springs on there. I'm going to start with Indian Springs first, just because I'm going to piggyback off of Barbara, since we got soccer out there, and particularly, we've got the traffic problems out there. And she's very good at emailing me and telling me, hey, I've got a huge tournament. I got 300 teams coming in here this weekend. Can you please not have any games at Indian Springs? So, and I try to accommodate her as much as I can on that, but it is a traffic nightmare out there at times when baseball, soccer, and soccer's going. As far as Indian Springs as well, my 2 fields there, it is aging. I heard Michael say earlier, this is an aging complex. And I've pleaded with him in the past, please don't let these fields just become something the parks guys have to mow. It is aging. The dugout covers, we lost 2 of the stands canopies during the storms this year. They've just ripped and gone. I've lost a dugout cover with the winds. But we use this field, like I said, 3 or 4 nights a week. I feel like I can be using it 6 nights a week if I had turf on those fields. And that's the biggest thing I'm asking for at Indian Springs is the turf conversion on the infields. Michael probably knows from years and years ago he used to come play tournaments here, and he knows that east field is a nightmare when it rains. It doesn't drain well at all. The west field, I can manage it, but it's pretty tough. But turf is a magnet to these teams as far as just wanting to practice, wanting to come play tournaments. Teams don't want to come here if they know it's going to rain and we're going to rain out. At Challenger, I have USSSA, WSL, SSUSA, NSA directors that come here and run tournaments here. I always offer them the 2 extra fields at Indian Springs. But they generally, particularly in the spring because of the weather, they will cut off their numbers. They'll start reaching the 35, 40 team numbers for Challenger. They could reach 60. We've had a 62 team tournament in the past. I had to use Indian Springs, but if they know the rain comes on Wednesday or Thursday, they have to tell teams you can't play, or we have to start 6 or 7 a.m. out of Challenger just to squeeze it all in, and we're done by midnight or 1 a.m. So that's my number one thing I'd like to see added is just the infield turf conversion with a drainage system at the Indian Springs softball complex. And then naturally to tag on to that, the dugouts are aged, the covers are rotting, and they need to be replaced. And then also big important out there, and I've talked with Matt Hendren and Phil Hink on the LED lighting retrofit. We have the Hubble lighting system out there now. It is very old, and I have LED lighting, which is controlled, programmed timing. I can control it by my phone. And the savings at Challenger is substantial from what I've been told. And the Hubble lighting, I know Phil calls me every year. He goes, how much are you going to use Indian Springs? Because the lighting out there is expensive. So he's trying to do his budget off of that. So also, I've mentioned the shade structures. 2 of the shade structures are gone. They were ripped and destroyed in storms, so I need those replaced. And then I also have the concession stand. Concession stand is aging. It probably needs paint. The inside needs to be remodeled, and I'm willing to spend money on remodeling the inside of it myself out of our adult softball fund. But these are the items that I need at Indian Springs. And once again, we need additional parking and some way to get traffic in and out of that park so we all can share it. Because I support soccer. Some of my boys played soccer. Most of my boys played baseball. I have 4 boys, by the way, and they're all grown now. But those are the important things I need at Indian Springs. Just don't let that little 2-field complex die. As you improve, I know you're going to improve everything else, and I'm sure baseball's already given you their spiel. We're going to move over to Challenger Sports Complex. Like I said, I'm very grateful for this ballpark. There are times I get very frustrated. I get frustrated with players. They're never happy. You can't make anybody happy. I'm sure you experienced this. You can't make everybody happy on the decisions that you make with the city of Broken Arrow. You can see on the diagram there, we have the 4 adult fields, and then we have the small adaptive field there in the courtyard. And then you can see when we designed the park, we put these 2 fields out to the west, which will be closer to the new amphitheater going up. And Scott and I fought over the way they're positioned, and they would need to be repositioned if we get to the point where we can build those fields. But when I go to the conventions to try to get national postseason play here, most of these associations need 8 fields. So that's why I need 2 additional fields at Challenger, and then I would have the 2 fields converted at Indian Springs. I would have my 8 fields. Not to say that I'm not bringing some of the postseason play here, but I'm not bringing the big boys yet. So anyway, we'll just talk about the concession stand. I think concession stand was put on here. That would be the concession stand to go with the 2 new additional fields that would go out here. But that's not my top priority to get those fields built. The number one priority on here, and I'm going to move around on this list, is the infield turf replacement. We are in our 5th year at Challenger, and this product does wear out, and we are playing on it Sunday through Friday with tournaments on Saturday and playing year-round. So I think that's important to get that turf replacement on there. With the additional crumb rubber and everything that goes along with it. Number 2 on the list would be the front entrance of the park. That was part of the actual bond package. I don't know how they word that. It was an additional if the contractor could get it, but we just didn't have the money to finish it. It was going to be a grand entrance, and then I think at the end when we were almost done with construction, it was just more of a security issue. We needed to put a chain link fence up there, and we have chain link gates, and I have to put a chain around it. And to me, you're walking up to the Taj Mahal of complexes, and we have a chain link fence. I just think something with an arc, I mean, I see it, and nothing, extravagant, but something that's got some brick around it, an arch, flowers, that kind of stuff. Which we have the flagpoles already out there up front. That was kind of part of the actual entrance when we designed the park. But it would be great to have a nice decorative looking front entrance. Also, shade structures. We currently have shade structures in the stands that are directly behind the backstop. But a lot of people will come in with their wagons and their chairs, and they sit on the sides to support the team that they're with on each dugout. It'd be nice to have some additional shade structures out on each side of those fields. Also, important, very, very important, even though this is an adult program, it's a different animal than the youth program. These parents that come out here for co-ed softball, they bring their kids and they just let them go wild. And it's tough to keep up with what they're doing, and they do destroy things. Michael, I know you weren't at Senior League Monday night, but I was on field 1, and I had to stop my game and walk over there and get the kids off the dugouts on the adaptive field. They were on the roof. Okay. And I was like, how did you get up here? So anyway, so back to that, I need a playground. I need a playground so bad, and I'm not sure where it's at on this chart. I don't know if that's the green. It's not really where I would want it in the courtyard, on the courtyard turf, but that can be discussed in design. But we need a playground for kids very, very badly at the Challenger Sports Complex. Also, we're down to batting cages. We originally designed to have batting cages at the ballpark. I think they're important for teams that come in for tournaments. They're trying to warm up, get ready for their games. And it's something we can use even in the off-season. Teams that a lot of people want to come out and just get some BP. They'll actually come out and rinse the fields, do some scrimmaging on the fields. But to have the cages available to rent would be fantastic. Where am I at on here? I've also... let's see, there's a decorative fence. I had asked for a decorative fence. I kind of put that in with the front entrance. The decorative fence would run along the pond. You can see where the parking lot is between the parking lot and the pond. We have a lot of people that come out and fish. And during tournaments, we also have in that area, the teams will go out in the parking lot, set up their cornhole boards. They'll play cornhole. And they tend to leave trash. And then I also have trash barrels all along there, but when we have storms like we've had this spring, they tend to get blown over, and it blows over, it gets into the pond, and so we have a hard time getting that cleaned up. But if there was some kind of a decorative fence that would help catch some of that and just make something kind of a nice entrance for the fishermen to come out and go fish in the pond. And it's got concrete expansion on here. I'm not sure. I think that's the expansion behind the concessions building. I don't know if you can see, it's a pink. We actually, when we get there in the mornings, we park our gator and our golf cart back there, and we have to constantly zip around the ballpark and that, but we park back there, and it's become very worn, and we just need concrete expanded out a little bit, so it's eroding away into the ditch. There's a drainage ditch that runs right behind that, and it's all eroding away into the ditch. So anyway, I think that's about everything I've covered on here. I realize you guys have important decisions to make. You got a lot besides sports to add to the bond, and I know we're not going to get everything, but I think it's important. It's important for all the sports organizations. I think this is a sports town, and I really hope you guys will try to get some of these things on our wish list here. So, if you guys have any questions for me, possibly.
The new parking that's gonna be out there, that should help for
Yes,
parking.
I need additional parking. That was originally in design, but yeah, it's a little crowded, and we thought that parking when we designed it was going to be enough. But when you get a big enough tournament, people are parking on the grass, and Michael, I've sent you pictures before of teams that park all the way up towards the entrance up there near the playground at the front of the park. So, yeah, we definitely need that additional parking. I will say, I want to add something on here, the little adaptive field that was built here. I know we've put in an adaptive field out the new park out west. We do have a challenger baseball adult league there, and these are people with disabilities. They come out on Thursday nights and Saturday mornings and play. I've had Hornsby come out from the Tulsa Drillers a couple times to be with them. They are a fun bunch to watch. If you watch our social media, you can see some of those pictures that we post. But that field is just more than just an adaptive program. They only use it during the spring, but we tend to rent it out to kids that want to practice 8 and under. And then I have other venues. I have wiffle ball parties there, birthday parties on it, because it's ideal for wiffle ball. I have a wedding scheduled there on that field in September. I've done a gender reveal on that field. It has been more than I ever thought it would actually become. So we've gotten very creative with it. So anyways, any questions?
Anyone else?
I have a question, but maybe more for Mr. Spurgeon or Matt or Shannon. With all these requests, I'm just curious, how much reinvestment do we have by our partners? Because obviously there's some money coming into them. How much reinvestment do we have from our user groups into these fields and parks, et cetera?
That's great. Matt, maybe you want to help address. I mean, you work with them on a regular basis.
Yeah, so I think it depends on each end user. It kind of depends on what their asks are and what they're able to do. So I don't have an exact number for you, but I would say it depends on each end user and kind of what they're after, kind of what kind of income they have, what they're asking for. So there is some, if you'd like actual numbers, I can definitely work on getting something like that for you and give you like a 5-year average or something like that of what they've recontributed into each complex. I'm happy to do that.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? All right.
We're
Thank you,
good?
sir.
All right. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Brad.